Okay, because I know TikTok is going to be over soon, so I'm just going to tell y'all the story of, I did say how I met my dad, but that's not how I met my dad, right? So my dad, Raynard Hicks, is who I thought was my father, wasn't my father. During COVID, age 48. Um, the day Kobe Bryant died, right? The day Kobe Bryant died, my father, that I thought was my father, was down in my house in Georgia. He was watching the news like the rest of the world was, or so I thought, right? So he had a heart attack. That ignited his heart attack, right? And being that it ignited his heart attack, he went into the hospital. They had to put him under for I lost my top, but they had to put him under because he had a heart attack because of Kobe. Now, anybody know Raynard, which he was a loner. He ran in and out the shelter system. He was really like a vagrant. He lived in the shelter. He begged for money on the street. He was a gambler. He was an alcoholic. He wasn't a type of alcoholic that had to have a drink every day. But when he got his money, his Social Security on the first of the month, that thing wanted to get drunk, right? But other than that, he didn't have the shakes or anything. He didn't have to go in rehab. I don't know why, but he didn't have that type. But anyway, Raynard was a beggar and a borrower. He smoked the cigarettes or whatever, but he was a gambler. He would gamble. He would play scratch-offs. He would play numbers. He would have some big wins. I've been a witness to him having some big wins because I got pissed off, right? I say that to say, so that was Raynard. That was who I thought was my father, which it wasn't my father. It was my other sibling's father, right? The sibling before me. And come to find out, when he did have this heart attack, he was like, he called me from the room. He's like, I'm having a heart attack. Call 911. But I'm like, nah, he wouldn't be joking about nothing like that. So I go walk to the room, and he like, call an ambulance. My heart is hurting. And he was a real Kobe fan, right? So he was definitely a real Kobe fan. So I called the ambulance. The ambulance came. So he didn't know his family at all. Mom, dad. The caretaker, my abuser, was the same person that raised him growing up, abused him. And he just wasn't able to get right? So he never got right. He was just in and out the hospitals and stuff like that. He was not like the mental health people that you see that be pushing people on the train and stuff like that. He utilized the mental health system to get that check, which is, I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't aggressive. Now, mind you, in his earlier days, he was doing a lot of robbing and stealing and stuff like that. He would do robberies. One day he got stabbed and he sent to the hospital. He almost died. He never robbed a person again in his life. So that was like maybe in his 50s, he stopped because he got a long history, a criminal record, because I got it. This is how I found out a lot of stuff. How, I started putting things together, right? So he wasn't that type, right? So that day he goes to the hospital. They put him under immediately. They put him under. He was under. They had to get his heart together. They had to put a stent in there, all that, because again, he was a cigarette smoker. Early in his lifetime, he was a drug user. He had Hep C. Those are the things that he had. As a person growing up, right? And he wasn't even he wasn't a needle user. Now, if anybody knows about, Hep C and stuff like that, you can get that through just being involved with somebody through blood and stuff like that, intercourse and stuff like that, mingling body fluids and stuff like that. So that's how he got it, right? So I say that to say, Raynard, he was a real good dude, but he just couldn't get right. Like, after being beat up and going upside the head. Not like me. Marion tried to break my soul, but she couldn't break me. You know what I'm saying? And she broke him for some reason. She broke him, and she broke my other brother, which is his only son, right? Because I thought it was me and him we had the same father, but come to find out, right? So boom, he goes to the hospital. I said, if you make it out the hospital, I'm gonna find your family, because we're gonna do the DNA. That's when I started giving everybody the DNA in my family, like everybody here, sending it out to everybody here, I was buying everybody a DNA. I'm sending it to your house. So that's how my eldest, my Raynard's son, I sent him one. He never took the test. He said he sent it out, but that was just not true. He didn't do it. My cousin, my mom's only sister's daughter, I sent her one. She took the test. My son took the test. So that's how I knew we was going to have connections. So we already sent it out and they already did theirs. So it was like, okay, let me have him do his so he can find out who his family is. And come to find out, I found out who his family is, but I wasn't his family. I wasn't. So when the test came back, I called the lady. I'm like, hey, help me connect my test to, this test, because I'm the person that looks over this DNA kit. And she was like, hold on. And she kept coming back like, hold on. And I knew, there's something about like just that hold on. I'm like, all right, I'm not stupid or anything like that. I'm like, he not my father. Boom. So I wound up telling him. He called back like a couple of months, because when he came out the hospital, he did that test and he was like, I'm going back to New York. If I die, I want to die in New York, where I'm from and all that. I don't want to be down here in Georgia, whatever. So he wound up, the next month when his money came and all that, he left. But we were still waiting for that DNA test to come back or whatever. So it came back and I was like, yo, you're not my father. He was like, yeah, I figured I wasn't. And I started putting two and two together, because, it takes, we're in the womb for 9 months, right? So you think about it, if he was in jail, the story was, and this was a story that everybody was consistent with, 3 people that lost contact with each other in 3 different time zones and never spoke to each other until I connected them back later on in life, right? So this story was so consistent, and it was 3 people, and they all 3 was in the same. In my book, do I got a copy of my book with me? I don't know why I don't carry a copy of my book with me, but I do be having it with me sometimes. But when I clean up I got this, but I don't got my book. Anyway, I cleaned out my bag. But anyway, so in my book, I named somebody named Love. It's a person named Love in my book. Johnetta, which is my biological mother, her, and Raynard. Those 3 were the 3 that always told me, your mom came to bring your brother to the jail when he was 3 months old. So mind you, my brother was born in September. If somebody was born in September, so you got September, right? You don't count September, you count October, November, December. That's 3 months, right? So he was in jail in 71. My brother was born in 71. He was in jail when my mom had my brother, her second son, right? He was in jail. It was no way. He was still in jail in January. He was still in jail in February of the next year. You know how I know? Because when I did the math, and I also looked up his arrest records, those records are still there. Now, mind you, some records is not there because I'm still trying to find my caretaker's records, because I hear from all her family members that she was arrested. But I think it was more federal. She was locked up on more federal charges than anything, right? So so anyway, 3 months. So if he was, and I was born in 72, so y'all do the math. It was no way that he could have been my father. But I didn't think about this all those years. But and then his eldest, it wasn't even his family. Well, that was the family that that was Marion's eldest sister. Aunt Cupid, God bless her soul. She just recently died in 2004. She was like almost like 90 something, very sharp of everything. And she was the one that said, I remember the day that my sister got you, which was Raynard. We sat down during COVID 48, and she told him that. And I just wanted to throw that out there and let y'all know that Raynard wasn't my father, but I'm gonna tell you who my father is. follow me.